Welcome back to the deep dive. You know the drill, you want to get smart about something, fast, and that's what we do. Today, we're jumping into a source lots of you pointed us towards, the YouTube channel Hester.
Mm.
Specifically, their video Die 5 Leckersten Porridge Recepti, which translates to the 5 tastiest porridge recipes. Now, porridge sounds simple, maybe a bit dull, but this video suggests, well, something else entirely.
Oh, absolutely. It really does. It's fascinating how something so seemingly basic can be, a real canvas for flavor. And Hester, they just nail showing that potential. So our mission really is to pull out those key insights.
Like technical tips, right?
Exactly. The stuff that takes your everyday porridge from just, okay, to genuinely exciting, simple tricks, clever toppings, stuff you can actually use.
Yeah, because I think for a lot of people, me included sometimes, porridge is just oats, maybe milk, maybe some fruit if you're feeling fancy. But this Hester video, it opens up way more possibilities. So, okay, let's get right into it. The foundation, the porridge itself. What's their secret?
Right. So the big thing, the key insight maybe, is the mix of oats they use. They use a blend of what they call, and these are the German terms from the video, Kernigin and Zarten rolled oats.
Which means?
Basically coarse and delicate, or like thick cut and finer rolled oats.
Ah, okay. So why both?
Well, the coarse ones, the Kernigin, they give you texture, a bit of bite, so it's not just mush. But the finer ones, the Zarten, they cook down faster and create that lovely creaminess. It's a smart combo.
That makes sense. Texture and creaminess.
Exactly. It's worth noting, like a really traditional British porridge might just use the coarse ones, which gives a chewier result. This is kind of the best of both worlds.
Interesting. Okay, and what about the liquid? They had a specific ratio, didn't they?
They did, yeah. 1 part oats, 1 part milk, and 2 parts water.
1, 1, 2. Okay. Why that mix? Why not all milk or all water?
Good question. It's all about hitting that sweet spot for texture and, importantly, preventing sticking. Milk adds richness, obviously, that creamy flavor, but using only milk, it can get too thick, too heavy, and it tends to catch and burn on the bottom.
Oh, yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
Scraping the pan, not fun.
Right. So the water lightens it up, helps it cook more gently, more evenly. This specific 1:1:2 ratio they show in the Hester video seems to really balance it perfectly.
Got it. And there was one other tiny thing for the base.
Yeah.
Salt, just a pinch.
Yeah.
In something potentially sweet.
Yes. Don't skip the salt. This is such a key cooking principle, really. Even in sweet dishes, a tiny bit of salt doesn't make it taste salty. It just wakes everything else up.
Amplifies the flavor, right?
Precisely. It makes the oats taste more oaty, makes any sweetness from toppings feel more rounded, less flat. It's a flavor enhancer. Hester gets that.
Okay, good tip. And cooking time. They mentioned about 15 minutes.
Yeah, around 15 minutes is a good ballpark for this oat mix and liquid ratio. But, as the host in the video kind of shows, you cook it till you're kind of right.
So if you like it thicker?
Cook it a bit longer, let more liquid evaporate or absorb. It thickens as it cooks, naturally. And remember, it'll thicken up a bit more even after you take it off the heat, just while it sits for a minute.
Right. Okay, base sorted. Now the fun part, the toppings. This is where Hester really shines, I thought. 5 different ideas.
Totally. Very creative, but also very doable.
Let's start with the forest berry one. Seems simple enough.
It is, and that's kind of the point. It's just frozen mixed berries, forest berries they call them, and a drizzle of maple syrup. The insight here from Hester is really about using frozen fruit. It's practical.
Because you can get them anytime.
Exactly. Year-round availability, often better quality than sad-looking fresh berries out of season, and usually cheaper too. Still packed with flavor and vitamins. Super easy.
Good point, especially in winter.
Okay,
next, apple cinnamon. This one sounded like dessert for breakfast.
it really did, and here we see a bit more technique, but still simple. Hester shows dicing an apple, any kind works, really. A cooking apple is good, and then the sautéing it.
Sautéing?
Yeah, in a pan with a little knob of butter, or they suggest coconut oil as an alternative, plus a tablespoon of brown sugar and about a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon.
So you cook the apples first.
You do. Until they soften up and that sugar and butter start to caramelize just slightly. It creates this amazing aroma, like a warm apple strudel or apple pie filling.
I can almost smell it. That sounds fantastic.
It really elevates the apple.
And they cleverly said you don't even need to clean the pan before the next one, right?
Yeah.
The banana porridge.
Yeah, little time-saving tip there. So for the banana, another neat trick from Hester, they sprinkle a a tiny bit of brown sugar straight onto the pan base.
Onto the pan, not on the banana.
Onto the hot pan, yeah. Then you lay slices of ripe banana cut side down right onto that sugar. And they mentioned slightly bruised bananas are actually good here, sweeter, softer.
Okay, then what
Yeah.
happens?
You just cook it, medium-low heat, until that cut side gets beautifully browned and caramelized from the sugar. It looks amazing, glossy, dark. You can see the little seeds.
Wow, okay. That's a simple technique with a big visual payoff.
Totally. Very effective.
All right, moving on. Dried fruit porridge. This sounds a bit more traditional, maybe.
It is, yeah, it has that classic vibe, but Heisenbieren adds a nice touch. So basically, use whatever dried fruits you like, chopped up small. Raisins, apricots, cranberries, dates, whatever.
Okay,
But the optional step, the pro tip, is soaking them.
soaking the dried fruit.
Overnight, ideally. They suggest apple juice or even a mix of rum and water if you want a little kick.
What's soaking do?
It plumps them up, makes them soft, juicy, much nicer texture than just chewy, dry bits. And they absorb some of that liquid flavor, too.
That makes a lot of sense. I hate really hard dried fruit and things.
Exactly. And then for serving, the video shows adding things like toasted wheat flakes for crunch, maybe some linseeds, flax seeds, adds nutrition, texture, shows how you can customize.
Nice. Okay, last one, and it sounds seriously indulgent. Peanut butter chocolate porridge.
Oh, yeah. This is the decadent one. Heisenbieren shows mixing creamy peanut butter right into the finished porridge. And they specifically say creamy peanut butter for this recipe, no crunchy bits.
Okay, smooth peanut butter, got it.
Yeah.
Then chocolate.
Yep, chopped dark chocolate stirred in or sprinkled on top. Classic combo.
Can't go wrong there.
But then the interesting addition is raw cocoa nibs.
Cocoa nibs, what are those like?
They're basically bits of crushed raw cocoa bean. They're not sweet like chocolate chips. They have this intense, slightly bitter chocolatey flavor and a really great hard crunch.
Oh, interesting. So like a healthier crunch.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Adds complexity, texture, antioxidants. It's a clever addition to balance the sweetness of the peanut butter and chocolate.
Cool. Okay, so we have the base. We have these 5 amazing topping ideas from Heisenbieren. How do they suggest actually putting it all together, serving it up?
Right. So first, remember the porridge thickens as it cools. Adjust cook time if you want it firmer or looser. Then assembly is pretty much layering it up to look nice and taste good. For the forest berry, just spoon the porridge, top with lots of those frozen berries they thaw quickly on the hot porridge, drizzle maple syrup. Maybe add buckwheat groats or linseeds as they show for extra texture.
Simple. And the banana one.
That beautiful caramelized banana takes center stage, place it right on top, then maybe those buckwheat groats again, and definitely those crunchy cocoa nibs they suggest. Looks great.
Yeah, that contrast sounds good. Apple cinnamon.
Spoon those warm, soft, caramelized apples over the porridge, maybe an extra bit of maple syrup if you like it sweet. And again, buckwheat groats are shown as an option in the video for more substance.
It makes sense. Dried fruit.
Just mix those plumped up fruits through the porridge or spoon them generously on top. Add the toasted wheat flakes or linseeds if you're using them. Pretty straightforward.
And the grand finale, peanut butter chocolate.
Swirl in the peanut butter, sprinkle over the chopped dark chocolate so it gets a little melty. Then add those cocoa nibs for crunch. Buckwheat groats, optional here too, adds another texture. You can really see how each topping in the Heisenbieren video isn't just about flavor, but also texture, visuals. It makes the whole experience better.
Absolutely. It's kind of amazing, isn't it, how a few simple ideas can completely change a basic breakfast staple. So, just to quickly recap, we looked at 5 really different, really tasty porridge toppings inspired by that Heisenbieren YouTube video, all built on that core idea of a perfect base. Mixed oats, the right liquid ratio, that essential pinch of salt.
Exactly. And I think the big takeaway for everyone listening is, honestly, porridge does not have to be boring. It just doesn't. These examples from Heisenbieren show how easy it is to add variety, excitement, make it something you actually look forward to, and it's still healthy.
And it feels so adaptable, too. Like you could swap raspberries for the mixed berries, or use pecans instead of wheat flakes, maybe add nutmeg to the apple one.
Totally. That base recipe is solid, and these 5 ideas are really just springboards. Use different fruits depending on the season. Try almonds, walnuts, chia seeds, different spices like cardamom or ginger. Experiment.
It really encourages you to play with your food in a good way.
It does. And, that brings up maybe a final thought to leave people with. Consider this. These techniques we saw in the Heisenbieren video, simple sautéing to caramelize fruit, Combining textures like creamy and crunchy, layering flavors, using a little salt to boost sweetness. How could you take those basic ideas, those principles, and apply them elsewhere, not just breakfast?
Ah, like beyond porridge.
Yeah. Think about, say, a simple grain bowl for lunch, or even dressing up a basic salad. Could you add a quick sautéed element? A crunchy topping. A surprising flavor contrast. It's about seeing these fundamental cooking ideas and thinking, how can I use this building block somewhere else in my kitchen? That's where cooking gets really creative, right?